Okay, so good morning, guys. I had a parent asking me about what content words are, so I just wanted to kind of review the draft model with you guys, and then if you have any questions, hopefully this answers them, and then if you still have questions, you can message your teacher, okay? So read the draft model, use the questions that follow the draft to help you think about adding content words. Okay, content words just basically means that they're going to be important words that you can use to help further your story along. So think of like important vocabulary words. So for example, you might want to use your vocabulary words in that, okay? So it says, a radio needs something to make it work. It can run on electricity. It can also run on a battery. Some radios have a sun panel to charge the battery. So what content words can you tell about a radio? What content words can you add to tell about electricity? And what content words can you add to tell about a battery? So you might say, adding content words about a radio. A radio needs something to make it work. So you might add content words about a radio. So for example, you might say, a radio, which is a device that helps you listen to music or the news, needs something to make it work. So you're telling us more, you're giving us more content, you're giving us like a definition of what a radio is. So you're giving us more words to help us understand what it is, okay? It can run on electricity. So then you might tell me more about electricity. How does it run on that? So you can say it can run on electricity by plugging it into the wall so that it will be powered so you can turn it on. So you're using words like plugging it into the wall. So all of those helps you understand that you're using electricity. And then it can also run on a battery. So what content words can you add to tell about a battery? So you can say it can also run on a battery. Usually in the back of a radio, there's an area where you can put in two AA batteries, which are these cylinder shaped items that will help, that has power in them, which will help you charge your radio. Some radios have a sun panel to charge the battery. So those are all content words, and basically what you're doing is you are just explaining. So it says related to radios, electricity, and batteries. So you're basically giving more information. So if someone were to not know what radio, electricity, or batteries are, then you can give them like more of a definition, okay? And it kind of has to do, let me share my next screen with you guys. It kind of has to do with the paragraph clues on page 427. So if you go to Pedal Power and click right, you'll see the paragraph clues. You can use paragraph clues to figure out the meaning of a new word. Think about what you learned from the whole paragraph and use words you know that help you understand the new word. So those are going to be content or context clues. Context and content are very similar, okay? You want it to have good content so that you understand what it means. So for example, you use your legs to push the pedals. Your energy is transferred to the bike. So we know that legs to push the pedals means to transfer energy. So that's the content that was added to help you understand what transferred means. The shift of power or energy makes the bike move. So let's say that you had just put energy. People might not know what energy is, so you put the shift of power. You're moving the power around. And so that adding that content is going to help people understand what those vocabulary words are. Hopefully that helps. If you have any questions about it, you guys can ask at the end of the lesson. But let's go ahead and get started with our Wednesday. Are you ready, Miss Mingus?
Yes. Our schedule for today is we're going to our anthology book, The Big Guy, and we're going to read a story called My Light. You're going to notice it's a lengthy story. However, some of the pages only have 2 or 3 words on it. So it won't be overwhelming when you read it. It really gives you a wonderful, complex, as we we forget how important the sun is to us, which is a major star, and what it provides for us, to our plants, to us, to the land, for us to be able to see and do as we go out, to machines. Incredible. And the cloud, when the energy, how it's stored in these turbines, and there's different kinds of machines that will store it. Like I always call them the windmills. How we have learned to take it and not waste it, but to use it later. The solar panels, just to kind of give you an idea, and how it is important to the whole universe, our whole earth. This is the lady that wrote it. You'll see her purpose is here was to speak and tell about electricity. We just turn on a switch and everything comes on. We're quite lucky, be it a TV, your CD player, whatever. But in actuality, when we see how this has all been done, wow, wait till you see and read My Light. Okay, so there it is for you. You then gonna go to your, after you get done, you're gonna go to your CRC book, your closed book, and here are your pages. You're gonna start on 173, pardon me, is that right? 173, 174, and 175 today. And it gives you the information that they're looking for. It's very quick. They're not sentences, as you can see. They're key words. The last one where it asks about the author, why does he keep repeating, my light, my light? Must have a reason for it. And you'll find it after you read the whole story. And here's the next 2 pages, light bulb and fluorescent tubes. A light bulb now is so, quote, obsolete in many ways to the new type of electricity with the fluorescent tubes. And then last for today, My Light, types of energy and electricity. All right. But please read it. If you have any difficulty, let us know. Glad to help. All right. Now, the next thing, and just a reminder for you, is you don't have to rush doing this. Also, you can work on it as well tomorrow because we continue with the anthology book. Okay. Now, in Pearson, and thankful to Miss Park, she was able so that everybody can have those step up to 3rd grade sheets. All right. And like I said, I am very grateful. I didn't have a book either, but nobody was in trouble. This is just to help you to get an idea. Okay. All right. We're going to take a look. Today, we still continue with topic 17, lesson 3, and it has to do now with writing division story.
What is the main idea of a division story? Think about this question during the lesson. Mrs. White asked her students to write a division story for the number sentence 15 divided by 3. How many objects will be in the division story? There will be 15 objects in the division story. How do you know? The total number of objects is the first number in the division sentence. Mike and Kia each write a story about putting roses in vases. Mike's story. You have 15 roses. You want an equal number of roses in each of 3 vases. How many roses should you put in each vase? Explain how this model shows Mike's story. The line segment at the top shows the 15 roses. The rectangle underneath is divided into 3 equal sections to show the 3 vases. The number in each section shows the number of roses in each vase. So, how should Mike answer the question in his story? You should put 5 roses in each vase. Kia's story. You have 15 roses to put into vases. You want to put 3 roses into each vase. How many vases will you need? Explain how this model shows Kia's story. The line segment at the top shows the 15 roses. The rectangle underneath shows there are 3 roses in each vase. The arrow shows that there are 5 vases. So, how should Kia answer the question in her story? You will need 5 vases. The same number sentence is used to solve Mike and Kia's stories. How is the division different in their stories? Mike's story shows division as sharing, and Kia's story shows division as repeated subtraction. You now know how to write a division story using a division fact. What story could you write using the division fact 18 divided by 6? Try it yourself.
So it looks like Kira already finished her end of the year test. So when she goes to classes, there's no digital quick check today. There's nothing. So just make sure that everything in progress says 0 and everything in not started says 0. And then here is your math for today. So you can go again, as Ms. Dominguez said, Class Dojo, math worksheets, step up to 3rd grade. I posted it today, and then which is the 20th. And then you would scroll down, and you can print these out as well if you don't have your book. So here is, look at the picture. There are 15 pilots. There's an equal number of pilots in 5 planes. So how many pilots are in each plane? So you would say 15. So there's 15 pilots divided by 5 planes because there's equal amounts. And then so there's 3 pilots in each. Same thing you can do it here. There's a plane with 24 seats. There's 3 seats in each row. So how many rows of seats are there? So you can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 24 divided by 3 equals 8. And then 16 divided by 4 would equal 4. And then Alma has 9 shirts. She has 3 drawers. 9 divided by 3 would be 3. And you guys can draw pictures. So you can draw 9 shirts in 3 drawers. So like draw 3 drawers. Here, let me see if I can do it for you guys. Because I know that it can be kind of confusing. So let's say that you draw 3 drawers. I'm going to pretend like these are drawers. And then what you're going to do is just like how we did in multiplication, you're going to draw 1 in each until you hit 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you can actually draw drawers and shirts. I just wanted to do it quickly. Mine looks like cookies. And then you're going to see how many. So she puts how many shirts in each drawer? She put 3. So 9 divided by 3 equals 3. And then 14 divided by 2 would equal 7. And then you can create your own. So that's going to be the lesson for today, and those are your answers. And then let's move on. So we got your reading, 20 minutes, your PE for 20 minutes. Remember, you guys can print these out and checkbox these. And then for science. And I will allow Ms. Dominguez to do that.
Okay, we're still on lesson 3. It's unit 4. And today we're going to elaborate. Here's another job you might find you'd like to do in science. A lot of different science, I'll tell you, jobs out there.
And
This
don't
is,
forget, guys, this is our last unit too. So
yeah.
after this week, you guys, we're gonna have a review week and then you'll test.
All right, 3, we're going to elaborate. I thought I lost it. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Okay, what does an oceanographer do? It says you study plants and animals that live in the ocean. They observe how living things interact with each other. Oceanographers also study samples of water. They look for changes in the water. They observe how these changes affect plants and animals. Now, the gentleman over there standing, that machine, that tool is called a CTD, and it collects the samples of water to make sure that nothing is happening, or something, if something is, they can see what and change it. All right. It says, what questions would you like to ask an oceanographer? Write them on the next page. And if you're interested or you have some ideas, for example, I don't know how deep it is. How deep is the ocean? Is it the same everywhere, or is it different other places? How much time do I enjoy spending in the water, especially if I'm going to do a job like this? Another idea may be, what happens when a volcano erupts to the water? What goes on under there? Because of course we're not there. They can go off anytime. How much are things affected by it? So there's something for you to consider. I hope that some of you may become one. Who knows? We may have you out there taking photographs, helping with the animals and creatures there. All right. This isn't a very long lesson today as it was yesterday, and I am going to ask you, maybe from yesterday's, you might want to go back and look at it. Yesterday was quite lengthy, but that's it. Write a letter. Now, I have to tell you, there have been some famous oceanographers. Unfortunately, they have passed, but their work still continues because of them. But to know one right now, I don't. And it would be, again, another little item to look up to help with your writing a letter. We've had them from all over the world to do wonderful things to protect and help our oceans and waters all over. So something to think about.
And this can be the writing for today. So you guys
Right.
can write a letter, which is a friendly letter, or it would be a friendly letter that you could do to write to an oceanographer. And as Ms. Dominguez was saying, I know that her class used to write letters to people in like sports, and Miss Park's class, we used to write letters to our pen pals. So maybe that's something you guys want to do. There are many oceanographers that you guys can write to, and I bet you guys can write to them and they would write back to you guys. So
I definitely believe that.
because they'd love to hear from children, and especially because people aren't going on field trips. My professor in college was also an oceanographer. So one time she took a bunch of us in a big bus and we went to the ocean, and she taught us a lot of the things that she has to do as an oceanographer. So there are people that are still alive today. There's many people, thousands of people who studied the ocean. And so maybe you guys might want to look that up and find and write a letter to them. So that's also kind of moving on to your writing. That's also a great idea for your writing. You don't need to just write to yourself. Feel free to write letters to other people. You guys can write letters to your teachers and send them to Whitman, or you can write letters to your grandma, or you guys can even at your home write letters to famous people. You guys can actually send letters to like the White House. You can send letters, a lot of famous people online. I know a lot of you guys follow a lot of famous people and like a lot of famous people. You guys can actually send them letters, and sometimes they write back, just like in the sports industry. So I know that some people have written letters to basketball players, football players, baseball players, and those teams will write back, and sometimes they'll even give you gifts. So that's
Can I add to that, Miss Park?
Sure.
That Tom Hanks, the gentleman that played in Toy Story, he really helped a young boy that was in Australia because Tom Hanks did get sick, and the boy's name turned out to be, and it didn't help with the virus, Corona. And Mr. Hanks befriended him. The kid wrote a letter, and Mr. Hanks wrote back to him. And Mr. Hanks is involved with old typewriters, and he sent the boy one.
Wow.
So now Corona
Cool.
writes to him on one of the old styles of typewriters. So it really made the boy feel so much better.
If any of you guys write letters to any famous people,
Please
make
let
sure
us
you guys
know.
talk about how great your teachers are, though.
Tickets are greatly appreciated.
All right, the last thing you guys have as always is going to be your spelling and vocabulary, and then your grammar and mechanics. And since we're actually really great on time today, why don't we actually do one together? How do you feel about that, Miss?
Yeah.
All right, so what I am going to do is I need you guys to just be on your best behavior. Is that even possible? Because I was going to unmute you guys, and then what I'll actually do is I'll make it so that you guys can unmute yourself. So I'll mute you guys, and then you guys can decide to mute yourselves again. And then what we'll do is you guys can call out like what the answers are, and then mute yourselves back. If there's too much background like noise, like your parents are talking, or you have little brothers or sisters, or there's a TV, then maybe you guys should just turn your audio off. Okay, so let me. All right, so I made it so that you guys can unmute yourselves. So only unmute yourself if you're gonna stay quiet, okay? So what you do is you go to test, and you do practice vocabulary.
This is gonna be awesome.
For the practice test, don't peek at your list. Peek at the word that's been defined.
Energy.
Electricity.
Things.
Electricity.
Electricity.
To do work.
Electricity. So energy.
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 Clothing.
Flow.
I hear
To
flow.
carry something heavy.
Paul.
I hear Paul.
What?
Energy that can
No
do
sound.
Solar.
Solar. So
Power.
power.
light or without sound.
Silent.
Some
Silent.
guys are
From
not
having
getting
to
it
do with
right.
the sun.
Solar.
Is of the earth.
Underground.
Underground.
All right, some of you guys have those wrong, so make sure you guys are checking those.
Words.
With that, you're gonna go to spelling, and then go to test, and then take your practice spelling test.
Sweet.
One of us question at a time.
Ready for the practice test. Get your list. Peek it. Okay. The governor is the leader of the state.
S-T-A-T-E.
Place the old
S-T-A-T-E.
There's too much noise.
Place.
Plus 5.
A-T-E. N-I-N.
Thank you, Leticia.
N-I-N-E-Y. Y.
How do you spell it?
Y.
So the players set out on the side of the field.
S-I-D-E.
I walk on
S-I-D-E.
the street.
S-I-D-E.
W-A-R-L-K.
Using those letters. Type in something.
Outside.
Hey,
I like to go
what
out.
was the word?
Outside.
O-U-T-S-I-D-E.
S-I-O-U-T-E.
Is it too loud?
Tadpole. The tadpole was changing into
T-A-D-P-O-L-E.
The mailman delivered a letter from my aunt.
L-E-T-T-E-R.
metal nails were attracted to the magnet.
M-A-G-N-A-T-E-T.
I am by myself because I want to be alone.
L-O-N-E.
My dog stays
Decide.
close beside me when we walk.
B-E-S-I-D-E.
Round.
R-O-U-N-D.
Few words
What is copying me?
all look right.
Good
Nobody.
job, guys.
50.
All right.
It was weird for me to say the
Don't
word.
forget, there are so many fun games. Okay, you don't have to play these games, but there are so many. Like I want to show you guys these games too because we have time and you guys sometimes
This
don't
part.
use them.
Now we have a dance party.
Love.
Yeah, I want dance party.
Yeah, I'm gonna do dancing fever. I'm gonna do dance fever. I know how to do it.
So you have to type F, and then you hit the letters you need. So you start at F.
The governor's the S.
Oh,
So these are the keys you guys can play.
see, good.
A.
Hey, where's A? Come on.
So you have to wait for it.
Yes.
Got it.
S. Oh man.
T.
Miss Frank is coming.
You get it?
There.
That's how you play those games. Okay, there's lots of fun games you can play.
I'm gonna show you how to do the fresh.
And then the last thing.
I was Misty Flesh. Hello.
We're not 10-8.
I know how to. The fresh.
All right. So the next thing you're going to do is play the grammar and mechanics games. And then after this, we're gonna have you guys say goodbye and then questions if you have any, okay? So you go to games, and then there's other games. Like I know my kids like to play like these bird games and the retelling cards and then the vocabulary practice, high frequency words. So there's lots of fun games on here too. So you guys do automatically have to play the grammar and mechanic games. So we did these: Tommy Run, and toy car, those toy car, or the toy car, and then you check it
Great job.
and then move on to the next one. A toys don't need batteries, those toys don't need batteries, that toys need batteries.
Fantastic.
So you do those. And then the next one is mechanics. So you do it until the end. So there's 17. And then you do mechanics, and then it will be this one. We use a lot of energy at the Buckley School. So you would capitalize Buckley and then capitalize school. And then do the next one. My friend Mary capitalized, and I think about how we can save energy.
Fantastic.
And then you continue on. So that's your grammar, mechanics, spelling, and vocabulary again, because I noticed that some of you guys aren't doing it. If you have any questions, you guys can stay on, and if not, you guys can